Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our second First Time Home Buyers Seminar. Today, I am going to have a guest with us, and I'm expecting another one in a few minutes. We have Carlo Vitale from Vitale Inspections. Thanks for joining us this morning, Carlo. I've used Carlo and his company for many of my inspections for clients and always been happy. So I just wanted Carlo to kind of get on and talk to us and answer some questions you may have about the inspection process, because I know you all have plenty of questions. So if you have questions at any point, just feel free to type them in, and we will make sure that they get answered. So I am going to allow Carlo to introduce himself and tell you a little bit about himself and his company.
All right. Marva, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. Happy 2021. I'm excited to be here and excited for the year ahead. So my name is Carlo Vitale. I am the owner of Vitale Inspection Services, where we do residential and commercial inspections. They range from home, radon, termite. We do underground oil tank sweeps, sewer line inspections, invasive stucco inspections, and we're soon to bring on level 2 chimney inspections for you guys, okay? We are based out of Robbinsville, New Jersey, but we travel throughout the state of New Jersey. I have 7 awesome inspectors. I have 2 great office personnel who pick up the phone calls. We'll be able to book you within a week, answer any of your questions, follow-up calls, follow-up emails. So we're here for you guys in case you need any questions to be answered at any point in time, before the inspection, after the inspection, anytime after that. We're here for you guys. So that's a little bit about us. We've been in business for about 10 years. This is our 10th year in business, 2021. So we're really excited about that. And we're excited for the future moving on as well. So I'm excited to answer any of the questions you guys have for me here today. And let's have a little conversation and go back and forth about the home inspection process, guys.
Excellent. Thank you, Carlo.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It is great to have you on early this morning. So I think what I might have to do, give me 1 minute. I think I'm going to have to put that on speakerphone. I can't see you, Seth. Where are you?
I am here, but if you give me 1 moment, I am rebooting my system.
Okay.
There's nothing on my end.
Okay.
I have to come back in and try and connect these.
Okay. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna keep Seth. So don't hang up on my phone here, because I don't want to lose you. And I turned my phone off. So, all right. So Macintosh, I'm glad you're getting us started off. So they are looking to buy their first time home buyer in the state of New Jersey. So first steps would be have your consultation with me, your real estate agent. And then the one thing I always recommend that people do is you want to also partner with your mortgage person, because what the mortgage person is going to let you know. And even if you're just thinking about buying a home, I would recommend the same thing. You need to find out exactly where you stand in order to be able to buy a home. Where do you stand financially? Is your credit score where it needs to be? Is all of your debt where it needs to be? There's a whole lot of things that come into play when you're purchasing a home. So you want to make sure that you sit down with the professionals in the very beginning, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to save $25,000 and then you go to buy a home and you find out that you got a couple of other things that you need to fix. And it took you 2 years to save that $25,000. And you could have also been fixing those other things or getting rid of them, things that might appear on your credit report that are old, and all kinds of other things that you can need to take care of. So the thing is that you want to come to your mortgage person and your realtor early in the game and say, hey, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house in 6 months. I want to buy a house in a year. I want to buy a house in 2 years. And then we will sit down with you and let you know what the steps are in order to do that. So that would be the first step. So now if the mortgage person says that everything is great and we can move forward, that's what we'll do. But what I want to do now is the inspection process is actually a very big part of purchasing a home. But this happens after we have found you a home, we have put in an offer, our offer is now accepted. So we are out of what we call attorney review, and I'll talk about that, in depth in another time. And now we have our inspection. And so you hire a person like Carlo, And Carlo, so tell us, why do we need a home inspection? Like, what are the benefits of getting a home inspection?
Well, there's tons of benefits. The A few of the key benefits that we want to realize are number one, most importantly, and what our company stands for, that we really try and do, is educating yourself about your home. Right? There's a lot of other benefits. Educating yourself about the new home that you're gonna eventually move into is one of the most important things, and that's why it's so important for the buyer to be at the inspection. As you're walking through the inspection with your inspector, you're going to be able to realize what's going on in the home, right? Where your shutoff valves are, how to work your HVAC system, how do your appliances work, where are all the different things in your home that you need to know about. But while doing that, while you're at the home, another key benefit is, why are we there? We're there to find defects, in a sense, right? So what are the major defects going on in the home? Yes, we inspect the entire home from top to bottom. We're looking at cosmetic issues, but we're also looking for any major issues in terms of structural issues. You don't want to move into a house that has structural issues, or you want to be able to negotiate those items, right? So that's another key benefit, to be able to negotiate these items that might be a major defect, and hopefully the sellers might be able to help you out through those items. And if they can't, another key benefit for you, are you going to be able to take that on yourself, right? And that's where you're going to know. We don't talk to you about that. That's with your real estate agent and your attorney, if you have one. You guys are going to all talk about that. Also, you're going to be able to, another key benefit is for future maintenance, right? You're going to be able to determine whether or not your maintenance costs. You have 2 heating systems, you have a water heater. What are your maintenance costs on those? How old is your roof? Determining age on different systems. How long do you have left on these different areas of your home? And that's also going to get you thinking on whether or not you need to start budgeting for new systems, right? So the home inspection is, yes, to find defects, educate you on the home, but also educate you on how long do you have left on certain systems in your home. All right, and then also all the different safety items in the home. There might be safety concerns that you want to know about, or you might just have questions whether or not something is safe, or whether or not how to put different safety protocols into your home as well. So those are mostly all of the key benefits as well, and we have a good time, So I mean, that's also good. So you come to the inspection to have fun and learn about your house, guys.
Oh, that's all good stuff. So, I have a question, because sometimes I have to always explain to my buyers that the reason that we pay the inspector is to come in there and tell us the things that we need to be concerned with the house, and just to check everything, because obviously we know the house is great because you picked it as a buyer. Right. So you don't need him to come in there and walk around and say, oh, this is great. This refrigerator is great. Great colors. That's not what we hire an inspector for. So, Carlo, some things that come up, because the report sometimes can be so overwhelming. It's like 10 to 20 pages sometimes of things. What's kind of like a normal wear and tear thing that, you would share with someone, but you would say to them, it's not something that should be a major concern, versus something that might be something that they want to get checked by a professional?
Sure. So a lot of things that come up that are wear and tear items, might come up with your systems. Okay. So a lot of times when we're going through a home, we find wear and tear on, say, your water heater. So water heaters typically last 8 to 12, a gas water heater, 8 to 12 years. And when we're inspecting those systems, a lot of wear and tear comes with that, right? You can have a little bit of rust here and there. You can have some crackling in the water heater. That's more of a sediment issue, but those are all maintenance issues that happen with wear and tear that you need to keep up with. You have wear and tear on your roof, right? So when we get up on a roof, we're inspecting the roof. We see granulars on the roof from the asphalt that might be coming apart. That's wear and tear. As the roof ages, the roof wears a little bit more in certain areas. It could have moss on it. That's wear and tear as well. We also have wear and tear on flooring, right? On cosmetic issues, on walls, doors. Sometimes when they expand and contract, you might have some rubbing here and there. You might have loose hinges. Loose toilets, that's, wear and tear. Loose toilets, the wax rings underneath the toilets, they sometimes they shrink a little bit and the toilets become loose. So that's wear and tear as well. Now, for major issues, you're looking at your structure. So you have a basement in your house. We get into the basement, and this is probably one of the worst things that you can have in a house. You have a cracked foundation that might be bowing inwards, right? That's something that we definitely want to bring a professional in. You want to bring a structural engineer in there to make sure that that bowing doesn't need any other repairs to it. Maybe it just needs a sealant, and it needs to be monitored throughout the years to make sure that it's not bowing any further. Or is it at the point that you need to have something done, or there's going to be significant other damage going on towards it? Your heating system. Heating system is a major concern. Your heating and your AC system. So right now in wintertime, unfortunately, we cannot check AC systems right now because of the temperatures. So that's always something that you're going to want to bring a professional in when you're going to be able to turn that system on, or I'm sure like Marva would tell you, to possibly get a 1-year home warranty. 1-year home warranties are great, especially for aging systems. Those are things that you always want to look into. But the heating system is a major concern. And if we find an issue with that, couple issues that could be, you could have a cracked heat exchanger. Your system could be short cycling where it turns on, it turns off, it turns on, it turns off. That could signify more of a major concern. At that point, we would say, hey, it's a good idea to bring a licensed HVAC contractor here to make sure that this system is not damaged further than your home inspector can see. So backtracking for 1 second, a home inspector is only doing a visual inspection of the home's readily accessible areas. So we can't take anything apart in a sense and further evaluate it in that sense. So when you're getting a home inspection, you're going to hear your home inspector say in certain areas on major concerns like we're talking about, to bring in a licensed professional to further evaluate to make sure that these items are not damaged any further. Your home inspector is doing his job. That's as far as he can go. So unfortunately, it stinks sometimes that you do have to bring in those other professionals, but you're just following the steps and making sure that you're putting everything in the right line. All right.
Thanks again, Carlos. So one of the things that I definitely want to share with everyone is some people will tell you, don't bother to get the home inspection because you can save $500. But at the end of the day, the $500 you saved may cost you $10,000 because there was something that you as a lay person wouldn't see, because this is not what you do every day, all day. So I always recommend to my clients that they get a home inspection and, want to make sure that we call on the experts to take a look at the things that, you need to see in the home that we can't see because we have our rose-colored glasses on because we have found the home that we love and we're just ready to move in, but we need to get an inspection done. So thank you again, Carlos. So Carlos is going to hang out with us for a while. If you have any questions that you can think of, we'll, make sure that we pop in. But I want to introduce everyone to Seth, who's going to be taking himself off mute. And Seth, we're going to try to see if we can.
Fantastic. Can you hear me?
Seth, I can hear you.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
So Seth is our mortgage person. He works with American Financial Network. I would like you, Seth, to just kind of introduce yourself, tell the folks what you want or need them to know about you. And then, let's start talking about the mortgage process, because I was talking earlier when I explained to people is when we begin to start and decide that we want to buy a home, that the first people you need to talk to is your realtor and your mortgage person. Most importantly, the mortgage person lets you know if you can get the money, especially if you're paying cash, great for you. But if you're not, you definitely need to talk to a person like Seth. So Seth, I'm going to just give you a minute or two to introduce yourself and kind of tell us what you do, how long you've been doing it, whatever else you want us to know. And so I'm turning it over to you now.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Seth Daniels. I'm a resident. I'm the regional branch manager for American Financial Network. We're a private mortgage bank licensed in all 50 states. We doubled in size last year, so we closed $14 billion of residential mortgage transactions last year. So that's a lot. The fact that we are a private mortgage bank means this is all that we focus on. We just do mortgages. So I won't go too far into the weeds, but that really does have a benefit because as a private mortgage bank, we have products that every other bank has, but we have products that banks don't have. And we have the expertise internally with our underwriters to say yes when others say no. The mortgage process, I frequently tell my clients, it's not magic, it's math. And so sometimes people say, well, I know the underwriter, or I know this, or I know that. But at the end of the day, every underwriter, everyone in the mortgage industry, for the most part, is licensed. And if they're not licensed, they care about their job. So nobody's going to do something that's outside of the guidelines. Does that make sense? Just like none of you would want to do something that would jeopardize your job. So being a direct mortgage bank has its benefits. I've been back in the business since 2004. And what that means is that I was here before the crash, and I've been here through the crash, and I'm here in the most beneficial time in the history of the United States to buy a house. So sometimes people get lucky in buying a house, and sometimes they don't. But what we like to do in partnership with our agents like Marva is stack the deck in your favor, because I always say, I don't know anybody that got married on the first date. And if somebody does, please let me know, because I'd like to meet that person. The first date for a home buyer is getting your offer accepted. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. Marv is absolutely correct, but we're in a very competitive market right now, extremely competitive. And I want to set each of you up for success, because the mortgage process, it's not even a mortgage process, it's a home buying process, is one process that most adults have not experienced. And if they have experienced and they're buying another house, the first time buyer and the move up buyer, they're both in the same situation. You as the buyer have no control over getting the seller to accept your offer unless you present an offer that is more appealing to the seller than the other offers. And so some of the things I'm going to share with you, it may sound like I'm just kind of spouting them off, but I actually, as we move through, I have a couple slides that I will show you. Everything I'm telling you is backed up by facts and figures. And I like to work with my clients, my buyers, and my realtor partners by showing you the facts and figures of what's happening in the market so that you can be a better informed buyer. Because what somebody did in August when they bought their house, or what somebody did a few years ago when they bought their house, has not, the market has changed. So I want to make sure that you are up to speed in today's market. So with that, I am happy to take the next step, set of questions for you, Marva, or your clients.
Thank you for that information. So, so the first thing I want to do is, I know we have some folks that are new to the home buying process. So you said the word underwriter quite a bit. What and who is an underwriter? What do they do?
Oh, okay, great. So mortgages are, let's just talk about FHA, for example, because everybody's heard FHA. So FHA is a government loan that is set up and insured by HUD, okay, Department of Urban Development, HUD. So they have a list of requirements to insure the loan. So a lot of people don't realize that there's a guideline, and I want to say it's 288 pages of documentation of what has to be done to approve an FHA loan. The person that's responsible for making sure that that loan is in alignment with the HUD guidelines for FHA is called the underwriter. So typically what will happen is your offer has been accepted, or before we even get to the offer acceptance, once you have met with your agent, then you have to get pre-approved. And the reason to get pre-approved, if I may change the chapter a little bit and put you in the situation few years down the road when you're ready to sell your house because you found a new house or you have a new job opportunity that you want. Your focus as a seller is closing this chapter of your life, moving to the next chapter. And that's all you're focused on. And your focus is who's going to pay me the most for the house, who's going to close the fastest, and who is most assured of going to closing, because you just want to move to the next chapter of your life. So understanding that means, if we come back to you as getting pre-approved, means that if we as a mortgage lender can help you close in 30 days or less, that's going to give you a notch above your competition. And so when I say competition, what I mean is typically in this market, it's not uncommon to have 10, 15, 20 offers on that house. So I'm going to come back to the underwriter. The underwriter is a person that makes sure that all the documentation to meet your FHA loan is in the file so that they can review it, check off the boxes. Yes, this is here, this is here. The underwriter doesn't see your file unless you have a house that you're buying. So the first person that works on your file is your loan officer that makes sure you're pre-approved. Once you have your contract, then the loan officer gives that paperwork to the processor to make sure that it's all current, up to date. And it's like the processor's job is to give all the documents to the underwriter on a platter. And when the underwriter has everything on a platter, the underwriter can completely underwrite your loan within a few hours. And if you're missing something, let's say a current pay stub, then the underwriter will say, we need a new pay stub. And then that becomes a condition. So once you have everything else, your loan is cleared to close, and then you can move in your house. Typically, pre-COVID, we were closing loans in 14 to 21 days.
So now post-COVID, how long is it taking to close a house?
We are closing homes in 30 to 35 days, as long as everybody is working together. And we hear, there's a common phrase that real estate professionals say that you may have heard: real estate is a team sport. And here's why I say that. Number one, you have to have the right agent. And clearly, Marva is the right agent because she's putting together this forum to help educate her clients, right? Number two, you have to have the lender, because Marva's job really is to find you the house. The lender's job is to get the money to the table, because if there's no money to the table, there's no closing. Your attorney's job typically is to review the contract and to make recommendations of changes to benefit you. And the reason for that is a contract, and Marva, I'm sure, can provide I don't want to go outside of my lane here, but I'm sure Marva could provide a blank contract to everybody so that they can see how many pages the contract is. But the attorney's job is to really, if you have an attorney, to explain that contract and make changes for your benefit. And then you have the home inspector. And you know, the home inspector's job, as we just heard, is to make sure the house meets the requirements. Any issues that come up, he gives back to you as a buyer, your agent, and your attorney so they can advocate for you. Real estate is a team sport. You have to have the right people on your team if you want to win. So.
Excellent. So I guess at this time, what I want to do is see if anybody has any questions right now, because we've given you tons of information, and I know you're sitting there, you might be taking notes, and there are things going through your head. You might have heard a few terms that you're saying to yourself, oh, I don't really, know what this means. One thing that I got from Seth's talk just now is that the underwriter seems to be like a teacher's assistant. So the teacher, who's the mortgage person, gives you everything that you need. And when you bring back all of the information and the answers, the teacher's assistant or your underwriter goes through and checks that everything that needs to happen is happening, and all the information that they need to process the loan is in place. You think that's a good analogy?
I would change it slightly. So
Okay.
We are transparent people, right? And so I always say that if you don't understand the back end, it's hard to understand why things happen. So I'd like everyone for a moment to imagine that you've gone to work and you've worked for a month, right? And you got your salary maybe twice because you get paid on the, 2 times a week. So you got 2 checks. But during that whole month of working, you made one mistake. But because of that one mistake, your boss comes to you and says, I'm going to take 30 days of pay back from you. That would hurt a lot, right? Nobody could imagine that. But in the mortgage business, that's what happens, because when I go back to FHA, FHA is just insurance. So an example is, if we were supposed to verify that you had worked a certain number of hours and the underwriter made the mistake, then that loan doesn't meet FHA requirements. Therefore, FHA won't insure the loan and they put it back. And when they put it back, you lose all of that time, effort, and it's not a sellable loan. It's just like going to the store, buying something. If you go to the store and buy a pair of shoes, you get them home and find out that there's a hole in the shoe, you return the shoe. That's the same thing that happens in a mortgage. So on the back end for the lender, everything gets unwound. The underwriter's job isn't a teacher's assistant. The underwriter's job is really like an air traffic controller that says, in order to do this, this is what I need. So the underwriter has a very, very important job. The underwriter is the one that says yes or no, and the underwriter is actually licensed by FHA. So if the underwriter makes too many mistakes, not only will they lose their job with their company, but FHA will prevent them from underwriting any more FHA loans.
Oh, that explains why they're usually very cautious, and they want to make sure that they double check and triple check when they're asking for documentation.
Yes.
So that's great. So I have a question here from Macintosh, but it's going to be a question for me. So you
Okay.
fellas can just sit tight for a little bit. Does it cost to meet with a realtor? So I have great news for you, Macintosh. It does not cost you a dime to meet with a realtor. And I would recommend that you set up an appointment. I'm a full-time realtor, by the way. This is what I do all day, every day, all year. So just call your realtor, send us a text, and we'll sit down with you and go through the whole process. And then we hook you up with the mortgage person that lets you know where you're going to be able to, what you're going to be able to do financially, what you can afford, how much home you can afford. So there was one other thing that I have not said yet, and I want to make sure I say this now. Are you listening? Okay, I think I have everyone's attention. Great. So the question is now a good time to buy? I am going to tell you, and I'm going to let Seth get into this some more, and Carlo, if you want to chime in also. Now is the perfect time to buy, and let me tell you why. The mortgage rates are at an all-time low. There's pretty much no one who is losing in this market. If you are gainfully employed and you are renting, you are throwing money away. Now is the time to get on the horse and gallop away. Hi ho, silver, as the Long Ranger would say, right? You want to make sure that you are taking advantage of this market. And that's why you got to talk to a realtor, and you have to talk to your mortgage person to help you plan that out, because maybe you can't take advantage of the market in the next quarter, but guess what? Maybe you can do it in the next 9 months with our help and our guidance to let you know exactly what you need to do. Because the one thing that Seth did touch on it some, when you go to put an offer on a house, you have to have a pre-qualification letter. That is not a option. You have to have one, because the person whose house that you're looking at has to know that you can afford their house and it is a viable offer. So pretty much the only way to go and look at a house that you want to see if you're not qualified for a mortgage is doing open houses. You can go at open houses. We host those open houses so people can come and take a look at neighborhoods and houses and what's being offered. But I want to make sure that you understand that pre-qualification is a must. So speaking to us, which costs you nothing, so you can set your game plan, is the absolute thing that you must do. So I'm going to ask for Carlo first to chime in. Carlo. I'm going to give you some time to take yourself off mute. Is now a good time to buy a house?
Like you said, the best time ever. I've been seeing just, doing inspections. We're not on the side, we're not inside on the mortgage side of it at all. So we don't work with the numbers, but this has been 2020, at least, has been our busiest year ever. The more I talk to buyers and sellers and the agent at the inspections, that's what I'm hearing. You want to buy now, your rates are low, and people are putting their houses on the market and they're selling. People are enthusiastic about buying. The sellers really are taking care of the things that they need to take care of when they're selling. And the one thing that I'm seeing right now with sellers is that they're putting their houses on the market, but for some reason I'm seeing those homes that are taken care of more and more for some reason. I don't know if it's because they want to sell them quicker and get into a new home, or it's they know that it's a good time to sell their house. So they're making sure that their home is ready to go. And that's because of agents like you. You're telling them, listen, we know it's a good time to sell. Make sure this house is ready. And they're getting their houses pre-inspected. Maybe the inspectors are telling them, hey, listen, these are the things you need to do to get your house sold quick. And that's what they're doing. So yes, I think it's an amazing time to buy and to sell your home right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Carlo.
You're welcome.
Beth, you said earlier that you, I guess you have some stuff that you want to share with us.
Yes, I do. And what I'm going to have to do is I'll send the slides to everyone via email, because for some reason, the ability to share isn't happening right now for me. But let me just share with you some numbers. And again, I told you that not just because I'm a mortgage guy, but I think that though we can't see gravity, we know it exists. And though we may not do math every day, we know it exists. So I want to just share with you some numbers that you will see on the slides. This is an absolute best time to buy. And at the end of the day, we realize that people have to live in a house, right? So if you go back to, depending upon how old you are, if you talk to somebody back in the 80s, they were getting 10% on a CD. They were getting 10% on their savings account. You don't see that today. However, with houses today, but at that time where the savings account had a 10% rate, the mortgage rate was 14, 15%. People still bought houses at that interest rate. We have never, ever in the history of this country had interest rates where they are today. So you have to make a decision. Do you want to do something for you and your family that's going to create wealth in the future, or do you want to help make your landlord rich? It's a very simple question. And whatever you decide to do, it's fine. So with what I'm about to share with you, I'm just going to look back 5 years ago. 5 years ago, and I'm going to talk about Mercer County. This is all going to be in what I'm going to send out to you. The average appreciation was 1%. The projected appreciation for the next 5 years is you're going to have 5 years from now, you're going to have 24% appreciation. So there is a house that Marva has that she has available for sale, and it's in Mercer County. So I just based everything off of that. So the house is $259, right? That's the average home price. Well, after 5 years, the gain in the price of the house is going to be almost $65,000. That only happens if you bought the house today. Now, if you choose not to buy the house today, and we compared something that's rent versus buy, right? So you say, hey, I'm not ready today. I'll keep renting. Fast forward, let's assume you kept renting for 9 years. The difference in your pocket is almost $190,000. Again, this is going to be on the slide. So I will provide that to you. So it's incumbent upon each of you to make a decision if you want to buy or if you want to rent. If you want to buy, you have a team here that's willing to help you. I am a subject matter expert when it comes to residential mortgage finance. And the other thing is I'm an expert on credit. So there is no credit situation that I have not seen that I can't help you through. So I'm happy to help however I can.
Thank you. Thank you for that information. So we got a couple of questions here. First question is from Tracy. about how long will the entire process take once you find a house and make an offer. So I'm going to tackle this one. Pretty much it depends on you, your price range, and the market that you're looking in. So if you're in a mid-range price range, say, 200 to 350, and you're looking, you're open to all of Mercer County, it might take you a shorter while to find. It really depends on where you're looking for the house. And it depends on your taste. You might be someone, you're looking for some specific things that you go in, you find it, and you can, people find the house that they love the first time they go out. So it could take you 24 hours. You go out today and you find the house that you love, and we're making an offer. Now, a lot of people get really frightened by that because, you feel like you don't want to buy the first thing that you see. However, when you're buying a home, what you love is what you love. Usually what happens is when I take people out, you see the first house you find that you fall in love with, I can show them 10 houses after that. They're not going to compare to the first one. So don't be afraid if you find your first house in your first 24 hours of looking. It really is all going to be dependent on you and what you're looking for, and if that's there on the market, and then we just make the offer once we find that house that suits you. So if you guys want to chime in, let me know. If not, just give me a thumbs up and I'll go to the next question. You got to give me a thumbs up so I know you don't want to answer. Okay, I see you, Carlo. See you, Seth. All right. So the next question is, let's see, from Denise. How difficult is it to purchase a home that has been taken by the bank? So this, I'm thinking you're talking about foreclosure. So I'm going to make this very simple. When the bank has foreclosed on a home and fully owns the bank, it is just like buying it from a regular seller. There is no third party that they have to go through. So the process is the same. The only thing that's different is the bank has no alliances to the home. They just have a set amount of money that they want to get for the home, and that's what they're going to sell it for. So sometimes they'll fix things, sometimes they won't, but banks are for no emotions when they're selling the house. So it's not difficult to purchase a foreclosed home once it's fully foreclosed from the bank and the bank actually owns the home. Anybody want to add to that? Okay.
I will. Oh.
You want to add to that? Then
yes, real quick. I totally agree with what you're saying. I would just add the caveat. The bank already has a home. The bank, because of mortgage insurance, didn't lose money. A lot of people think the bank lost money. They're happy to get rid of it. It doesn't work that way, right? So you got to go in with the right expectation. And the expectation is you're going to put your offer in. You're going to work with Marva. You're going to understand what the value of the house is after repair. And we can give you a loan. The house can be ugly, no running water, nothing. Okay? We have a loan called an FHA 203K or a home style, which is rehab loan. That'll give you the money to buy the house, fix it up, make it your own. And then when you close, if you go through the process, we'll know this is how you can buy a house and have $25,000 of equity before you close. So that's another conversation, but we can have that if somebody has a house that they're interested in that's bank owned.
Thank you. Thank you for that information, Steph. 100% correct. So next question is from Kimberly. What is the best type of loan or the differences?
Okay. The best type of loan is the one that's going to, number one, be based upon how long you plan on owning the house. That's number one. Number two, the loan that you qualify for. Okay. And number three, to approach it without the emotion and make a decision based upon the numbers as opposed to what you may have heard or when you're not looking at it from a mathematical standpoint, because a mortgage is very simple. It's just math. That's all it is. So what I would say to you is what we do is we'll give you multiple loan options, and then you can choose the one that best fits you, and you'll know what the impact of each loan option is. So that's the best type of loan.
Thank you for that response. So pretty much a loan is like, buying that brand new car. There's tons of cars out there, but it's the one that you love, that you want to drive, and that you can afford. So there it is in a nutshell. That's just me giving my little layman's terms. I always got to throw that in there. So, got another question here. Good one. I have two more good ones, so I'm going to go with McIntosh first. Do you only service Mercer County? So for all three of us, for Carlo, for Seth, and myself, no, we don't. We work throughout the entire state of New Jersey. Now, if you were looking for a property in Morristown, I would partner with another agent that is more familiar with that area, because it's a little further away, so it's not in my comfort zone. But I do Mercer, I do Burlington, I go down as far as Camden, so I do Cherry Hill. So Carl's team has done inspections for me in all of those areas. So we do not only do Mercer County, we can take care of you throughout the state of New Jersey. Let's see. Another one, and this one is going to be kind of for you, Seth. Do you factor in real estate taxes to determine if a person can afford and purchase a particular home?
Yes, and it's not because we want to as a lender. That's what the guidelines tell us to do. So there are really two calculations that a lender does. One is called the housing expense ratio. That includes any housing expense. So your principal and interest, your taxes, your insurance, your mortgage insurance, and if you're buying a house that's a condo, let's say, the condo fees. Okay. And then we take that's the first ratio. So the answer is definitely yes. And then we add it to whatever other obligations you have on your credit.
Excellent. So does, got another question. This one is from Denise. Credit score. How important is it, and what is considered a decent score?
So it depends upon the loan type. If you're a veteran, the VA does not have a minimum FICO score. If you are going FHA, the minimum FICO score for FHA is 500. I know people are like, oh my gosh. But like everything, there's some other caveats that come with this. So ideally, what you would want to have is a 620 score as a minimum. That gives you the option to all loans, including conventional. Now, one of the things that we do is people come to us and they think they know what their credit score is. If you have not gotten a credit score from a mortgage lender, you don't have a mortgage credit score. You have some facsimile thereof, which you can't rely upon. So anyone that's here, I'm happy to help you. When we pull credit for our clients, we'll send you an additional report that says, here's what your credit is today, but with these changes, this is what your credit would be tomorrow. And again, it becomes part of, we'll do the heavy work and the heavy lifting for our clients that others don't do. But we're going to say, hey, you know what, if you were to, for example, pay off a couple of these items that we've identified, this is the impact it would have on your score. And this would save you over the next, if you planned on being in the house 10 years, this would save you, I'm just making up numbers, maybe $13,000 based upon the difference. Then you have the information, you're an informed consumer to make the decision if that's what you want to do.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So there's another question here. Is there a cost to obtain my score from you?
There is no cost. The way that you have to, because we're governed by federal law, no lender, no one can pull your credit without your explicit consent. Okay. So the way that we get that, we'll send you, when you apply, it's very simple. You go to applywithseth.com and then you apply, you'll answer the information that we need. We'll pull your credit and we'll give you the report that I just mentioned. So there's no cost to you.
Carlo, this is one for you. Once a potential buyer receives a home inspection report and there are possible issues, where does the buyer go to get a more detailed inspection?
You could do one of two things. You could give us a call and try and give you a referral for that particular person, whether it be a roofer, HVAC contractor, structural. We have contacts with a lot of different people throughout the state, so we'll be able to point you in the right direction of somebody who has been in a reliable contractor who's going to be able to give you that. Or you can, your agent also has plenty of contacts as well, and they could probably give you someone. Like Seth told you before, we're all a team here. We want to make sure that we're staying within that realm of our team, so we all have the same knowledge and everybody is on the same page.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So let's see. Do we have any more questions? I don't know if we have any questions on Facebook. I can't see.
Yes, you do, Marva.
Okay. So can you let us know what the question is so we can answer that?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you fine.
Okay, it says, what is the process for purchasing HUD auction homes?
So most HUD homes do require that you go and see the homes if they're available to actually see in person with a realtor. And so pretty much everything in the state of New Jersey being sold needs to be sold by a licensed or licensed real estate agent has to be involved. So that process is almost like going through the normal home buying process, except there's an extra step for me as an agent. There's HUD has their own site, which is where I would put the offer in for the home. And then that's how they pretty much will interact with me using the computer system. It's an online system. Sometimes even when you go online, you might see that there's an auction and you can actually go in and put in a request. They'll always ask you if you're working with an agent. And the reason why they do this is because, like I said, in the state of New Jersey, when you sell real estate, if it's not your personal property, you have to be licensed. So if you say you don't have an agent, then they will get an in-house agent that will work with you. So someone that works for HUD with a license that will be able to go back and forth with you. So it's pretty much, it's similar. HUD has lots of requirements. They usually are selling their homes as is. So we had Seth talk earlier about a 203K loan. So that's where something like that may come in, and you have to, get a loan that is going to require, give you the extra money that you're going to need to fix up a home. Because, that's not something I want to get into today, but if homes need work, you absolutely are not going to be approved by a mortgage company for a regular standard mortgage if all the pipes are missing and all the kind of other things. So just want to make sure. Any other questions on Facebook?
Okay, wait a minute, Marva. She also says, sometimes I see homes for sale with auction information. Is the process similar to purchasing a foreclosure?
So usually what some banks do, depending on where the property is, they will give it the old college try and maybe put it on an auction site just to see what's happening and how are people going to, what they're going to bite, and, they can sell it online. But like I said, it's still the same process, because in order to sell property in New Jersey, you have to have a licensed realtor. So most of those properties are aligned with a real estate agent that's already, has that property for sale. So It kind of sort of is the same process.
Okay, I do have a question here for Tanya. Tanya Eva's blessed, but I'm not understanding it, but maybe you can. What's the link to apply?
For
I
a
don't know.
mortgage?
I don't
Oh.
know. Maybe she will come back on and repost her question. I don't know. Okay, so hopefully she'll come back on and repost the question, and I'll give you that question.
Right. And if you definitely you can go to my Facebook page, Marva Morris, and just look me up and with Weichert, and you can put your information in there and we can give you the link to whatever information that you may be looking for. Carlo, I'm going to give you a chance at this point to let everyone know what is your Facebook.
Sure. So guys, we have a lot of different platforms that we can go on, but we have our Facebook page is facebook.com, Vitale Inspection. We have an Instagram that we post a lot of different videos there, educational stuff as well. And that's just at Vitale Inspection as well. And then our website is vitaleinspection.com. And our phone number, if you guys want to give our client coordinators there a call, 609-751-8048. And we'd be happy to take care of anything or answer any questions you guys might have before even purchasing a home, okay?
Oh, what's
And Seth?
Marva?
Yes.
The question was restated and it says, what's the apply to we if I'm qualified or what I need to do? Where does she go to apply, I'm assuming,
I
To-
think she's going to have
for the
to.
credit report, to obtain a credit report?
So is she on Facebook?
Yes, she is. Okay, what's the link? Okay, thank you, Tanya. What's the link to apply to see if I'm qualified or to obtain a credit report? So how does she get her credit report, the type that you guys will need? Is there a
So-
link or does she have to contact you guys?
I think we will, the best way to figure out what she really needs is for her to call. I will let her call Seth. So Seth, Denise, can you type in the number once he gives it to you so she can just call him?
I sure can.
Okay.
Well, can you just type in to Facebook www.applywithseth.com?
www.applywithseth.
Yes, that's the link.
Okay, and it's all one word. right?
Yes,
Okay, I will do that. Thanks.
thank you. And can I just mention one other thing, just a interesting fact. So for all the people that are considering buying, one of the things that I always get asked is, well, where should I offer? What should my offer price be on this house? And they have asked me, but they've also asked Marva. And I just want to share with you an interesting fact. So let's assume the house is 250. A lot of people assume that they should start someplace below 250, maybe 240, maybe 235. But I want to share with you, and this will go out, in the most current data that we have for Mercer County, houses sold at 99.6% of their list price. So if the house was listed for 250, it sold at 250. Now, that also means there's a percentage of houses that sold over 250. So it goes back to what we were saying before. This information is going to be here. Marva has it. She can explain it to you. I can explain it to you. But when Marva recommends where to list or where to put your offer in, I would highly suggest, because she is a subject matter expert with real estate, they take her counsel, because she's going to put you in a position where your offer gets accepted.
Thank you. So on that note, we are at 10:59. We really can't take any more questions, but if you have one, we'll hang around for you. Any more questions before we wrap up?
Yes, I have one question.
All righty.
Can we review this seminar webinar at a later time? And if so, where do we go?
Absolutely. So we have recorded this and it's also live on Facebook. So you can go to the Trenton Alumni Chapter Facebook page of Delta Sigma Theta, and you will be able to see it there. And I will also be sharing it to my Facebook page. So you'll be able to see it there. I don't know if you guys want to be able to share it too. Carlo said he will share it. Thank you so much, Carlo. And Seth will share it also. So any of our Facebook pages, you can go and take a look at it. And also the Trenton Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. And thank you so much, Delta Sigma Theta, for co-hosting with us today. Thank you, Carlo, for all of your information. It was great. Loved having you here today. Love seeing you again in person. I see everybody else from your company, but I haven't seen you in a while, so good to see you.
Great to
Seth,
see you as well.
thank you. Seth, it was great seeing you also. We're looking forward to
seeing you.
it. So what I want to let you all know before we leave is our next workshop is going to be on February 13th. And it's once again from 10 to 11. And this time, Carlo mentioned it, so he kind of segued me into next month. We're going to be talking about home warranties. So I will have someone there from a home warranty company to just let you know what that covers. And then Seth will be here again because we always have to talk about the mortgage because that is how we pay for this home that we want to buy, unless we're blessed and we have the cash to pay for homes. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you, Seth, so much for giving us an hour of your time today. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. And that's it. Anybody, Carlo, you have any last words? I'm sorry, let me give you a...
No, just stay positive. Have a great 2021 and see you guys soon. Thank you. Thank you, Marva, once again. Thank you, Seth, and everybody for asking
Thank
the
you, Carl.
questions.
Marva, what's the date again next month?
It's going to be February 13th, which is a Saturday.
Okay, thanks. I'll post that.
Okay, Seth, any parting words from you?
No, just thank you so much for having me. Everyone, I look forward to helping you in the future. 2021 is going to be your year. And whatever we can do as a team to help you, we stand ready. And the slides that I talked about, we'll send out to you. So until next time,
Excellent.
have a great
Everybody
day.
who's registered is going to get a copy of the slides. So once again, I am going to end with this. Now is a great time to buy a home. Do not let this time pass you by if you are qualified. Come on out, find out from your realtor and your mortgage rep if you are ready, and let's get you started and get Carlo in there to do the the inspections for us. Thank you all for your time. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you next month. Take care.
Take care.